A new interesting tech card has been introduced within Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Nexus. This is Corrupted Gem of Rebellion Snake Eye. You can activate one card with this card's name per turn, target one face-up monster on the field, place it face-up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell card. This must be the newest iteration of dealing with opponents' problematic cards, because previously you had things that would send cards to... Firstly, you would have cards be destroyed by spell and trap cards. That was the main way of getting them into graveyard. Typically there weren't other cards that could revive those cards from the graveyard outside of Monster Reborn and Call of the Haunted. Eventually you started getting all these random forms of graveyard recovery that then forced Konami to develop cards which could then banish monsters instead, or as they were known, originally removed from play. This meant that specific cards, including Miracle Dig, as bad as that card is, had to be produced to form some kind of recovery from banished and removed from play zones. Eventually that becomes outdated, and then the next iteration of that becomes return to the hand type of effect, so you think compulsory evacuation device, but then there have been things that either limit that or actually just outright negate that. For example, Jinzo, so that just shuts down those types of effects. Following this, you have send back to the deck, or to force your opponent to top deck cards. You've got things such as Blast Wing, which will just top deck by discarding your own card, or you've got things that will just shuffle back into the deck as part of their intrinsic effects. And then straight after that you have the banish cards face down type of effects. These come in forms such as number 89 Diablosis, who has the ability to banish cards face down, which is very difficult and near impossible to actually recover those cards. I don't think I can name a single one that can recover from a banished face down. And now you've got this brand new version, which is the most upgraded version. This means that cards have to be placed instantly into the spell and trap zone of the user. It's going to be near impossible for most decks to be able to recover from that point. The only examples of cards that actually benefit from this, I can think of two decks. Crystal Beasts being the first. Reason being for them, they love being in the spell and trap zone. They get some of their effects, they actually get to activate effects from that zone. For example, Rainbow with Ancient City Rainbow Runes, that gets effects based on the number of Crystal Beasts that are face up in the spell and trap zone. You have other ones that activate if they've got two or more Crystal Beasts face up in the spell and trap zone, so they actually enjoy that. The second archetype is a near brand new one, which is the Gate Guardian ones when they got the upgrades, as those cards can be sent to face up spell and trap zones, and you can still bring out the fusion monsters from having those there. This is a very powerful tech card, and I would imagine it's going to be one of the most expensive as you're going into the future. Definitely look out for this card, as people will be running multiple of these, or they'll be looking at having counters to this specific card. Anything that can negate spell effects, so you'll be looking at Naturia Beast, being expected, and that will hike the prices on those type cards. As always, I'd love for your comments and views about this particular card. Do you think it's actually going to make that much difference? Do you think this is kind of the game-breaking card of the set, or do you think I'm overhyping it? Whatever you think, put those in the comments, and make sure to watch another video on the channel. It really helps support.